haven't done anything for this channel for a while, or the others actually, and that is obviously because of work, which I've explained on my other channels. But it does seem to me that this channel is all about giving advice about trying to be the best kind of bloke or person you can be within your situation, ability, or whatever you want to call it. And it just seems to me at the moment, because I'm quite down, and I'm down for a few reasons. And these are reasons that are pretty much, I think, out of my control. There's no point in getting down about something you may have fucked up about, because, to be honest, it's your fault. You should have fixed it. But in this case, some of you may have been following me later on my main channel. And yes, I'd met a woman, and it seemed like it was all going good. Everything was great. And just like that, got to stop. Anyway, and give all the reasons, but at the end of the day, it's just what it was. And I prefer people to be straight. I'm straight with them, and I expect them to be straight back. And it just seems that this isn't the case. And it's a bit like work. Joined there a few months ago. Hello. And I laid my cards on the table. Then I said, "Here's what it is. CPC runs out in a bit. What can you do?" And he said, "Don't worry, we'll get sorted." All right, fine. Give him plenty of notice, and it's gone on. And anyway, late last week, I can't do anything for you. Brilliant. Okay, why couldn't you have tried doing this before? I could have sorted it out. Now, for the last 3 weeks or so, I've been crawling around this shit, doing crap jobs, because the vehicle that he supplied me was fucked, and we couldn't get it fixed. And now it's still in another garage, but it is being fixed. But the CPC, I've just done my CPC course. I did night courses and day courses back to back. You think that's a good idea, right? I've just had a letter from the course people saying, DVLA don't like you doing that, so it's going to take 2 weeks for you to, or for them to upload. So it's 2 weeks waiting to get back on the road with the lorry, plus the motorbike, which we all know about that, still waiting for that one. CPC, DVLA, DVSA, call it what you want. They take as long as they want, but you have to do everything right, bang on time, otherwise they fuck you for it. I've realized that this is becoming more of a racket all the way through Europe and in England, this CPC bullshit. I don't think it makes you a better driver. It just makes you more aware of the fines that you could get. And if you're more aware of the fines you can get and all that sort of shit, then to me, they then find it easier to prosecute you. Now you know this latest law that they brought out, and they're bringing out more laws all the time. So I'm now sat there for the next 2 weeks thinking, what am I going to fucking do now? And I was just sat here tonight, sober. Well, that did have orange juice in it. And you just kind of, you do the right thing. There's other things as well, but you do the right thing. You're straight with people. You're honest with people. You put your cards on the table. You do everything you say you're going to do. And you expect them to do the same, and they don't. And I can't tell you how frustrating it is. And obviously, we came off the happy pills because I done the bite test, and the happy pills do have side effects. They make you have apathy on everything, really. And obviously, there's other things that will have an effect. So we got rid of them, but you do feel emotions a lot more. So the highs you feel a lot more, the lows you feel a lot more. So whereas if you were on the happy pills right now, you'd be like, oh, well, whatever. At the moment, you're pretty pissed off, which is natural. But I just find it amazing. It's just, it is what it is. It seems to me that the shithouses get on better in life than the non-shithouses. And I have a whole jar of fucks because I haven't given any fucks out lately. Maybe I should. There it is. Duke. Who we got in then? Wayne, Mr. Mutual, Jason, Fakar, Kirky. Oh, Jesus, we've got quite a few people in there. Man up and join the resistance is true. I've been totally out of the loop with news, which it's been nice, but I'm getting back into it because, you know, that is at the end of the day, that is what I want to do in the end. Right, Brody? So I'm going to do my best to avoid the pubs tomorrow, although I'm meant to be going to work to do some shite and then come back and go on the bike. But I definitely want to do a live stream and get in contact with people, because I haven't, and I do it over to, you know, to people. And also I want to know what's going on. How's me lass? She dumped me, mate. Simple as that. Yeah, with no warning at all. That was it. Gave it up. So it is what it is. That's obviously a bit of a pisser, really. I don't think she liked the fact that I did this YouTube thing. I think she was quite frightened by it. I think that was a major part of it, if I'm honest. What do you do? I ain't going to stop this. All right, I've had some time off because of work, and predominantly because I've been stuck in that yard. The yard has no signal. And if you're permanently jumping from one machine to the next, it's physically impractical to do a live stream. And when you get home, you've been worked to death, work that you're not used to, because I've been a lorry driver. So you're absolutely fucked. Hi, Rev. I know how you feel, mate. Seems like the most harder be you work, the less you... Yeah. I've been talking to people who work their asses off, and the CPC course, I've got to say something about a CPC course. They were very quick booking it. They were very good at getting it organized and all the rest of it. And there was this other guy last night. He does night courses, and he was ex-Southern African military, but he did military over here as well, I think. I'm not quite fully up sure. He was he had some melanin in him, but I don't know how much, and we didn't care. Fuck me, was he funny. I laughed so hard, right, that I could see these two screens to the side of me, but this one just went grey. And I got this like ticking, whistling noise. And I realized I was just about to pass out. It was that fucking funny. So that was good. And yeah, do you know what? One of the instructors desperately wanted to be a YouTuber. Narcissistic cunt, lefty. And when he found out I was, the passive aggressive. But whenever he tried to talk left-wing shit, he just got slaughtered, because the guys there were all realists. They've all been boots on the ground, if you want. They've been fucked by the agencies. They've been fucked by the companies. They've been fucked by the system. They've been overtaxed, overworked, underappreciated, and they're real blokes. So, yeah, pretty much every time he opened his mouth and put some bullshit out there, they fucked him off. How's the bike? Did you get your dog sorted? No. I got a letter maybe a week ago. Thank you for your recent inquiry, bearing in mind it had already been 3 weeks that the letter had gone in. And then they said to me, we will process your request on the 16th. So that's another 5 days. And then it'll take another 5 days after that. Well, I had a track day booked. I ain't going around a track on that fucking bike. I've got no experience on the cunt. Hope you're well, Rev. Do you know what? I felt really achy working, but the gout had gone and all the rest of it. I've done 4 days, sat on my ass here doing the CPC, and the gout's come back. The knee's come back. Well, the gout's not quite back. So I can't wait to get back out there and do something. But it just rains and pours, doesn't it? Every time you start getting ahead financially, I don't know if any of you've noticed, something kicks you in the bollocks and takes it all back again. And there was a common thread, because we had white people, we had people of Italian descent, we had people who were from, I don't know, Africa or somewhere like that. We had Muslims on there, and they all were singing off the same hymn sheet, believe it or not. But they would be, because they were workers. Yeah, so let's have a quick look at the comments. Simon, that is sad. You're single again. Yeah, I know. Pretty much. Just got used to the sex. I like that. My last relationship ended in violence. That's not good. But my point is, he didn't like Tommy or anything I stand for. So the next person I get into a relationship is a must. Yeah, the ex didn't like the fact that I even mentioned the fact that I had a partner. All right. I say it's the ex. She didn't like being called the missus. But what do you call somebody that you're having that kind of relationship with? I don't know. Fuck it. I give up anyway. Just fuck it. I can't bother. So, yeah, the people in a pub were real. And one of them was really on the right page. But I would suggest that if you talk to people that all they're interested in is talking about how they can just make their life the best and fuck everything else, if they don't worry about, say, for instance, the legacy that they leave the next generation, their kids, that kind of stuff, then they're not very good. They're bad people, really. I mean, anybody who takes and doesn't give is a selfish person. Anybody who's selfish is not going to do the right thing by you. So I would suggest that if you talk to somebody and they say, well, I don't give a fuck what happens to the country, chances are they're not going to give a fuck what happens to you either, really, if it doesn't benefit them. I mean, they'll be all over you when they're getting something from you, whether it be sex, a place to live, food, whatever, right? But the moment they don't need you, they'll drop you. CPC is a mandatory, where do we go? We had that, it's moved, right? It's mandatory for professional drivers, bus, lorry drivers, etc. 35 hours of classroom shite every 5 years. Or in my case, I started it at 5:30 Monday night after my work shift. That went on to 9:45. Woke up in the morning at 7:30, logged on, and by 8 o'clock, all the way through till 4:30. Had a break for an hour, did it all again, and I did that Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, and I did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as well. So it's possibly the most of it was painful, and I have to say that some of these people that do these courses, some of them were really good, some of them not so good, only because you could see through them. Well, I'm not going to go to the case they watch because I think some of them did subscribe, but it is what it is. But yeah, the fact of the matter is you do need to do these things, not because it's a legal requirement, although it is. It's the fact that there's laws changing out there that they'll fuck you. Did you know that if your CPC runs out and you get caught driving a vehicle, it isn't just a £1,200 fine. You are now not insured because you're not allowed to be driving on the road. So you're driving without insurance. You also have, or you get referred to the traffic commissioner or whatever his fucking name is, who will then take your license off you for driving a truck. So there's more to it than that. And there's a lot more other things that I learned on this course that we didn't realize, and that they're just looking to fucking, they won't take money off you. That's the fucking ends of it, right? I mean, I always thought to myself, if they're really thinking about people's safety, really worried about people's health, what the fucking hell did they push the jab on everybody trying to fuck them up with that? You know, I don't believe in they do stuff for our benefit. They only do it to make money out of it. Now, if you think of health and safety, that is a fucking biblical industry. It does two things. It does many things. A, it provides a platform for selling stuff that people wouldn't have otherwise bought. Then it provides an entire training system that people have to pay. Then it elongates the work so that you earn more out of every job in cost. People have to pay more for everything. So the system itself, the ones at the top, will make a lot more money out of things like health and safety. Because I thought to myself, well, it costs more money, doesn't it? I mean, it takes longer, but they make out of that. So all of this stuff, and they say it's to save us and look after us. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it anymore. It's all a war. Yeah, it is. And some of the things that they want you to do, that they now want to investigate your what you're up to on your time off. So in the old days, you put your taco in, you did your manual entries. It's not enough. You have to account for when you're not there. What were you doing? Were you doing a bit of work yourself for somebody else? If so, put it down. Were you on holiday? You need to put it down. Were you on sick pay? You have to put it down. Were you doing this? Because what they're actually trying to do is find out if you're making money anywhere else so they can fucking relay that onto the Inland Revenue. Bullshit. And I don't think that the drivers today are any better than they were in the old days. Some of them were worse because, you know, you had local route knowledge, you had experience, you had driver sympathy for a vehicle because he actually knew his way around and could fix it. We're now told on these courses, don't touch anything. Don't put oil in the vehicle. That's somebody else's job. Don't tighten the wheel nuts. Somebody else's job. Don't do anything but put water in the screen wash, because otherwise, if you haven't got any water in there, that's 3 points. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I've learned that, right? But it's stupid things like that. So you're driving along during the day, right? It's pretty bad, okay? And you run out of water en route to, say, for instance, the next services. Are they going to believe you? No. Have yourself 3 points and a fine. And that's what it's all about. It's all about, like, it seems to me, running the little person or the little operators out of business and just having big corporate wank stains that will end up having people drive for them for very little money. So, yeah, the industry's fucked. But it's not the only industry, is it? I mean, they fucked the fishing industry up, didn't they? They fucked the coal up. They fucked the gas, the steel, everything. So there it is. But, yeah, I was listening to some music and I was getting a bit flat, and I thought to myself, well, it's probably something to talk about, yeah? It's ridiculous. Yesterday, my fire extinguishers were checked and I could have signed them off myself. My landlord arranged it and we're the occupants. Pay for this bullshit. Yeah. It's a bit like they were saying that if you go up in front of the traffic commissioner, right, say for instance you've done something wrong, right, Bully? If you've done something wrong, there was a guy, he was a Muslim guy, strangely enough, and he says, I now represent people. He says, because the solicitor will charge you $8,000 for the representation, and then when you get there, he'll say nothing. That's how it works. Because you have to explain yourself in front of this all-seeing, all-knowing, all-prevailing traffic commissioner, which some are good, some are bad, so I'm told. And he'll decide, like a stipendiary, which is basically a barrister on his Jack Jones. They will decide your fate. And the fucker next to you will do nothing, but you still got to pay him $8,000, right? So this Muslim guy said, well, I've got to charge $4,000, $5,000. So you've got to pay somebody. And he's actually saying, if you go up there and you're just going to be honest and straightforward, you just fucking represent yourself, because they ain't going to do shit and they ain't going to achieve shit. And if you lie, then they will really go hard at you. And if you're straight with them, at least you might stand half a chance of having a reduced punishment. But anyway, there it is. So when you look out there and you look at these people cutting corners and you think, oh, well, if they get caught, you get a slap on the wrist. Fuck that. You're talking massive fines. You're talking loss of license. You're talking prison. I love it. But there it is. Has anybody seen, by the way, the mobile speed cameras in Wales? They work at night now, these vans. All right. I didn't realize. So basically, they had within a mile and a half of each other 2 cameras. One's to catch you out, and the other's after that to make you think that it's okay. There's no more cameras around. You come around the corner, you get fucked again. So, yeah. What have we got? Weirdly, in the other tab of my PC, YouTube video popped up called 1960s and System Simulator Drive Home. Yeah, never done flatbed work. Yeah, this is another thing. The guy who was one of them was teaching me, he says, I've driven a 7.5 tonner for a few months, and I seen the course and they were asking people to become trainers, which they were. He said, so I thought I'd do it. And he's asking us, as we're doing this course, for our advice. Let's work that out. I've paid for a qualified person I'm expecting to have some experience to train me. I've got 16 years on the road. And when I actually explained what I'd done, there were others that had done more. But so I've done home delivery on 7.5. I've done rigid fridge work, right? On rigid. I've done class 1. I've done 15-meter rear steer. I've done double deckers. I've done curtain side. I've done now hook loaders. I've done grab. I've done tippers. What else have I done? Beaver tail plant collection. There's other stuff. So obviously, yeah, this guy didn't know anything about what I was talking about. And one of the training videos, right? If any of you are lorry drivers, imagine this. You have a trailer. Now, what you're meant to do is go underneath it, but you're supposed to, this guy literally hit the early risers, push the fucking thing up in the air, and then all the air went out of it. No, hang on. That was when he came out. He fucked the early risers off. He went in so low that he almost didn't touch, and he twatted the pin twice, nearly missed it. Everything he was doing was wrong. And then when the vehicle was in there, right, you're supposed to raise the air suspension up. Some people will notice you've got legs that come down, and to wind them up, if you take the air, put it in, raise it up, then they're easy to wind up. This bloke did everything wrong, and that was a fucking training video. And I was looking, I was like, Oh, my days. Another interesting thing I found out. Do you remember that motorway police? And one of them was a bald-headed Scottish choppy little cunt called Angus something or other. Well, he's done a lot of these, or he's in a lot of these training videos. He got fired out of the police for being a dodgy cunt and bullying. Imagine that. There it is. So how do we manage 117 people on this channel? Bargain. And at this time of night, and unannounced. Collapsing on the street. Yes, a couple from Discord have piled in. So let's have a look through the comments. We'll go back up a bit. Hector had a better understanding of everything. Immigration. Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. We're talking about immigration and what the fine is for bringing people in. Alex Balefield representing himself. I felt that went well. Yeah, I would suggest that Alex's case was somewhat more complex than I've been driving around my taco for 3 weeks because I was trying to bend the rules and get more done. Or I've been driving around without a CPC because I couldn't be fucked to get it done. Now what? That's kind of the cases. Or like falsification of records or driving around, I don't know, fucking 8-ton overweight or whatever it was, that kind of stuff. Alex is certainly more complex. But anyway, the last time I had a flatbed was I met the missus. Yeah, flatbeds. Do you know what? I bought one of the memory foam mattresses, and because I've slept on it so much and it's so fucking cheap, one side of my bed's like this, concaved, and the other side, if you roll over, you're rolling uphill. You've got to get a proper mattress. These fucking things are shit. What do we got? It's all fucking stealth tax scam. It's within every type of industry. It is. Do doctors do refresher courses? Good question. I seen a meme, not meme. I saw a clip out, and it was explaining that people like doctors, barristers, and people who are highly educated are people who are more, what's the word, predisposed to just doing what they're told and following the rules and just regurgitating somebody else's rules. So these people make great globalists or globalist slaves. They also don't know that they're actually facilitating and part of the system. They just think they're highly educated and we're all fucking idiots. And it seems that the blue collar workers and the people that they would label these days as ADHD or whatever, the people that had no interest at school because quite frankly, they weren't fucking interested in what they were teaching. Perhaps if they'd been teaching them something better, like mechanics or building work or how to balance your bank or what taxes were about and why, we might have paid more interest. But the shit they were teaching was like, yeah, fuck off. But these people, like myself, like yourself, are more likely not to be sucked into the latest hot air, the latest bullshit, the latest drama, the latest fucking war, the latest vaccination, the latest fashions, the latest fucking wokery, the shit fuckery. So, yeah, fair play for you. I know Starmer's secret. Well, let me guess. Didn't he say his brother or one of his family members got torpedoed during the Falklands, and the only thing to get allegedly torpedoed was the Belgrano, unless he got torpedoed and Exocet mixed up, because obviously the RGs did Exocet quite a lot. Yeah, the Coventry, the Sheffield, the Atlantic Conveyor, and the one that begins with a V that was in the Bay, and then I think I don't know if it was an Exocet that hit the Galahad and the Tristram. There you go. I had a trainer CPC course saying you can do a 16-hour duty because you get an hour break. Yeah, bless. Ugh, idiot. Keep up the good work, Rev. Well, I haven't done enough lately. Can't speak for anyone else, but I'm here because I have time burn waiting for my dealer and dinner to turn up. Excellent. So do you call out for an Uber and get it all in one, or is that two different knocks at the door? Be interesting. I'm excited to see which gets here first. So there's 2 knocks at the door. Well done, Fur. That's another thing. You know, when you get a real sociopath, they don't understand other people's humor. This person didn't. And he did suffer, and he didn't realize when people were taking the piss out of him, which was quite painful. Not for him, because he didn't realize. Do you know the YouTuber The Looking Glass? Let's see, sentences in Manchester. Got a 2-year sentence. No, What do you get a 2-year sentence for, by the way? What do you think of reform private prosecution regarding the Manchester airport thing? I don't know anything about it, so you'd have to bring me up to speed on that. They used to call them educated idiots. Or is that they've been educated beyond their abilities? Something like that. Starmer likes his bumhole stuffed full of Ali. Quite possible. Let's be honest, that boy has been through private schools, hasn't he? And you know what they do, especially the prefects. They take they like the look of the people like him. Is it me? Or has his face definitely got that slightly not human, definitely something wrong there look about it? You know what I mean? I'm searching to see any real thread of manliness or personality or anything. Mind you, when you saw him play football, that was a painful thing. It was fucking absolute wanker. Right, what we got here? The police held off to allow Farage to come in as a savior. They're all connected. I've told you before, Farage is paid opposition, and obviously anything he sets up or has anything to do with will be that, or he'll be in there to wreck it. Look what he did with UKIP when it started when it was taken out of his hands and somebody came along batting and started doing well with it. God, did he go bad. Galahad. What do you want to know about the Galahad? The Galahad and the Tristram, weren't they were they amphibious or were they landing vessels? Either way, they had the Welsh Guards on it and they had ammunition. And at that time, one of the not quite high up enough officers was saying to an officer who was higher up, we need to get the men off. And in times of peace, you're not allowed to load a landing craft up with weapons and men. It's one or the other. And he made this point, this higher up person, and the other guy said, we are in war, sir. The rules don't apply. We need to get these men off. We are sitting targets. I can't remember whether they're in Ajax or wherever they were. I think Ajax Bay was where the hospital was. I'm not sure of the exact bay, but either way, they sat there and in came the RGs and they hit them. And well, a lot of Welsh guards were seen coming onto the beach, burnt to a smith. And that's where Simon Weston, one of those boats he was on. And I believe that put one of the, I don't know how they rank a certain number of men from a certain division or whatever it was. Basically, they hadn't even cocked their rifles or whatever it was, and they were basically effectively decimated because of the fire. The man on the Clapham omnibus has more common sense than the people supposedly running the country. Godfrey Bloom, he's a lot of fun, isn't he? Yes, very educated, very good. And I like it when he stood up in front of the European Union and fired fucks into him. I think he was a major in the army. That might explain something. And he would have been a major in the army before you had all this, what's the common purpose getting into it? 125. I think you can see how people would get confused. Most normal people understand the difference between a torpedo and an Exocet. Perhaps the PM wasn't lying. He's just stupid. Well, we know he's stupid, and it is. Basically, both of them are meant to explode. One of them, in the old days, from what I understand, would explode under the boat, therefore breaking its back. But I think they're probably different now. And the other's meant to hit somewhere around as close to the sea level as it can, and then blow the fuck out of it. What's tipper work like, Rev? Never done it, but they always seem to be in a rush. They are. They're paid by the load, unless they're on a day rate, which is rare. So basically, they'll be as flat out as possible. And the problems you have with tipper work is in and out 7.5 tons, you're in small places, you're in tight spaces, you're in dodgy ground, you're going over stuff that gives you tires bursting a lot, you're wrecking shredding the tires. So the moment Vosa pull you over, you'll end up needing 4, 5, maybe tires on one vehicle. So that's one of the problems. A lot of the owner operators they're under a lot of pressure to make money, because anything less than 5 loads a day on certain places, you won't even break even. I think really with the tipper, you need to be making about 550 quid a day minimum, just cover your cost, the wages, the fuel. you need to be making 650, 750 a day, really, to start making it pay. Or that's what my understanding is of it. Think is you can see how many we get confused. Most normal people understand. Okay, I think I read that. What we got? Looking down. You thinking about seriously giving up the booze yet, mate? No. Just simple as that. It's the only thing that fucking gives me a relax sometimes. I get, when I'm at work, especially if I'm doing lifting, carrying, and fucking driving and jumping in and out of stuff, I come home and I'm stiff as a board all the way down. And even if I just have one can and then just sit down, the stress, and then I start to relax. I like beer. I don't want to give it up. I don't smoke. I don't gamble. I don't go on holiday. I don't do much. I like beer. But I have to watch it more now than I did before, I think, because obviously not on the happy pills. You notice stuff like, say, for instance, you watch something in Yellowstone, which is a real touchy moment. If you're on happy pills, you watch it, I go. If you're not, you can watch it and get tearful. That's a sign that you're getting near closer to depression. And also, you got your feelings back. Where are we? Starmer's eyes are too close together. Good point. He has a Downs look about him, which is insulting to people with Downs. Yes, it does. There's another one. Have you heard of alcohol fetal syndrome? But I don't know if his parents were drinkers. I would suggest probably not. Not to that level anyway. Yeah, Gottfried Bloom. One of my sergeants in Germany, I'm assuming that went down in history, as the only person to sink a landing craft on exercise. He got the load and weights incorrect. Butterfingers. Yeah. How far did that go down and sink? I mean, was it just offshore, or was it on the shore it started to sink, or was it out to sea and that's it, game over, tough shit? Rev, do you think there will be a civil war? Eventually, yes, without a doubt. It's, as Simon says, Farage's controlled opposition. Thank you. Late joining tonight. Good to see you, Rev. I plan to do one tomorrow. So I didn't actually expect anybody like this amount of people on this channel coming on, especially as I don't give it any notice. But I do need to do the call-in tomorrow and stuff like that. So I might actually set it up tonight so that everybody knows. They might actually get notified at some point during the day, because let's be fucking fair. People don't get notifications. Torpedo is under the fucking water missiles, like the Exocet travel just over the surface. The basic base common knowledge. Yeah. There was another thing that the RGs had, because they did have balls, those lads that were flying those planes, is, say, for instance, they're coming over land. They're over one side of the land, right? Over the other side, they come down, and then you've got to get below a certain level, otherwise that you picked up on the radar, right? Problem is, their radar needs to be able to pick up the boat to acquire it, right? So they do something called pecking the lobes, where they would come up just to get into radar contact from the enemy, so that their radar could give the details it would need, I assume, to the missile or whatever it does, because I'm not fully up to speed on it. And they come up and down like this and just peck the lobes. But they were coming in so quick, and some of them were released so late that the missile itself didn't have time to arm. So that's why you found there was one guy, you see him interviewed, and he's got no fucking arm, and I don't know if he lost part of his leg and his mate got killed. But he had to go down and defuse these things because they were sat in the bottom of this fucking boat, still live. And he tried defusing it, and it blew the door, and the door took his arm and that clean off and took his mate clean out. But some of the stories about the war. And the other thing that really upsets me is when you go down with a ship, or say, for instance, there's a ship that it's got bodies on it, and they don't go in and get the bodies. They'll tow it out to sea and sink the cunt. And the other thing is that you all get buried, not quite where you fall, but not far off. So there's a lot of sailors, and there's not a lot of sailors, a lot of army boys over on the Falklands that died, and that's where they are now. So their family can't get down to see them. That part, I think that came about from, from the fact that, especially with the First World War, that the rich could get their families home, but the poor couldn't. So they decided to blanket say that, no, you couldn't get your loved ones back. So I digress. Tipper piecework at its best. Yes. I love the booze. Good for you, as long as you don't let it ruin your life. Nope. Having a bucket of Guinness as we speak. Lucky bastard. Do you know what? I'm going to join you for one. Why? Because that's all I've got. Does anybody remember me and Fizzy Coffee years ago? Does anybody remember that? If you do, put it in the comments. I won't say any more. So, yeah, let's not hang yourself out dry here, so they pull you over, check your tires, and find they have defects. Isn't it 3 points per defect? Yeah, this is the thing. You would think so, wouldn't you, right? Surely they can go and do that. And your shit's on the ground, etc. Right. Here it is. Hey, if you drive a tipper, you'll have tiny little, what look like hairline cracks. What's happened is something's gone in there and come back out again. Okay. So you've got all the tread you need. You've got shitloads of tread, but you've got some little slits in the actual tire tread, but there's no thread showing, no core, right? So it's legal, right? Then what they do, they've got a tool that then goes, fishes in there, spreads the tire out, and they keep spreading the tire out till they eventually find cord. Then they go, there you go. But they can't do you for it because you don't have that tool to go inspecting. The vehicle I was in had gone through the MOT 2 days or a day before, all right? And I said, it's gone through the MOT. Surely he would have seen it. Oh, no, that he doesn't have our tool. Then A, why doesn't he have the tool? Or if he doesn't have the tool, why are you splitting tires the way you are? But if you ask questions like that, they make your life harder. So there was me and the other truck that we owned, and there 5 tires on there. And I've got to be honest, you looked at them, you're just like, that's a tipper. And also they give you a special sort of dispensation because you are a tipper, because they understand the work you do and just what it does. But say, for instance, you were driving around in a, I don't know, say, for instance, a class 1 or 2 vehicle that only ever goes on the road, and you had tires like a tipper on it, they probably get the ump. But because you would end up changing tires every day on a tipper, if you were going, say, for instance, into quarries like Durnford in near Bristol, or if you were going onto some of these sites where you picked up and then you had to go to what they now landfill, or where they're bringing up the level. If you had a truck and you were doing that, you could put brand new tires on it on Monday, and by Friday they'd look bad. Have I got any plans for the weekend? Well, unfortunately, probably labouring tomorrow because I can't drive. Going out on the bike possibly in the afternoon, but I don't know because I went out today. Here's an interesting thing. So I'm on my bike and I'm overtaking on a normal road. I think it's the 8th 38. Anyway, loads of room, and I mean loads of room. Then I see this copper coming at me with his lights flashing. I thought, you know what? Fuck you. You can get in, right? Because I don't like him. I'll be honest. Didn't think anything more of it. Anyway, about 1.5 miles down the road, he hit another copper, fucking head on, right? Well, sort of quarter to quarter, and both of them written off and in a ditch. How did I feel about that? How do you think I felt about that? Right, I only drink twice a week. Got any plans for the weekend? Yeah, I'm really, I do need to do, as I said earlier on, a live stream on the main live stream channel, because I can't do it on the main channel. Do you know what? I'd love for Elon to take over this platform, kick out those fucking woke wankers, and reinstate my live streaming. Because on my main channel, we could have some fun. Starman's face is almost plastic sheen. It is great. Greta Thunberg has fetal alcohol. I think she does as well. So no idea about the landing craft. It was a legendary act that went all the way through the armed forces. Yeah. I mean, you do hear about these things that happen, no matter what industry you're in, that there is a legend that did this and nobody else has done it since or before. What have we got? I'll go down through the comments a minute. David Curtin talked more sense than Farage. I like David Curtin. I've had him on before, and I'll tell you what, I'd vote for him if he was here. There is a certain irony calling yourself the Heritage Party and being a man of colour, but I don't care. There is kind of, in England. But I suppose if you listen, the Cheddar Man was apparently black anyway. But I like the guy. He's funny. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He means what he says. And at the end of the day, good enough for me. I was watching a little bit that was talking about our king that abdicated. Apparently, it turns out he was the right piece of shit. But who knows? What was it? Oh, that was the other thing. This fucking instructor was being passive aggressive, saying, "What are you doing on your computer? Are you looking for Thai brides?" I thought, is that a bit of projection? Anyway, that's why they are called homebrew. Yeah, it's solid. Elise Thatcher put a name to something good. Yeah. Yeah, when she broke the unions were bent as fuck, but that was the last time that British people had true solidarity, I think. And they were led by a fucking arsehole. Greta Thunberg's grandfather created climate change. All these cretins are, well, the name climate change, because the climate does what it needs to do to keep itself the way it is. You look at, we'll have El Nino, then we'll have the other El, whatever the fuck it is, and I can't remember. You'll have the tides or the currents in the ocean will move one way and it'll be warmer towards us. And as a result, that changes the jet stream. But it's all about taking the heat out of the center and slinging it to the poles, from what I can understand. And the world does a very good job in this. And when these people did their discoveries and they drilled down, they drill about that big, and they go down 2 miles, and they've gone through all the ice and they've checked the CO2 levels and much, much more. And what these people decided to do was they would take their base reading from the last lowest point, and then what they would do is watch us rise, and they say, well, look, we got global warming, which is utter bullshit, because if they'd gone back prior to that, things were a lot worse. We're nowhere near it. It's absolute bullshit. And I suppose if you want to look at the fact of, if you looked at how much CO2 and all that shit's pumped out by, I don't know, underwater volcanoes, by bacteria in the ocean, or whatever they call it, by an above ground volcano. And some people will actually come out with, there's more CO2 unloaded from a volcano than everything that we've chucked into the atmosphere within since we got industry. So, here's the thing. They want to tax you for it, right? But where does the money go? I mean, you can't give it to God and say, I'm really sorry about the damage. There's the money. Can you fix that? And why is it that we get to pay a lot, and then Africa, India, and other places, they just do what the fuck they like? Dave Curtin's English is you and me. Top bloke. Yeah, I agree. DK's David Curtin's mother is British. Good. Yeah, because I can't remember which way around it was. He did explain. I did a half an interview with him, but we needed to carry it on and get the rest out of him, and he was funny. And I find that if a politician can actually have the crack and have a joke with you, then he's a lot more real. If they're one of these miserable personality, characterless pricks, it's not a good sign. 38 minutes behind. Yeah, it started off with a whinge and now it's all a bit more philosophical. You can call yourself English because you're born here. If a dog is born in a stable, does that make him a horse? This is one of the old arguments, isn't it? No. But the other question is, a stable, is that the only thing that can be born in there? No. Anything can be born in a stable. Ask Jesus Christ. He wasn't a horse. Apparently. Might have been hung like a horse. We'll never know. You might want to ask Mary Magdalene about that. Oop, now we're getting political. The whole climate change is a steaming pile of shit. It's all about money, of course. How's the love life? I don't have one. Thanks for the question. David and Andrew Brigden are the only ones I like. Good. I'll do Greta with petroleum jelly. I think that when Greta finds men, she might calm down. What is she now? 19, 20, 21? I don't know. I was born in Northern Ireland, but I never look at myself as Irish. So let me guess. Loyalist. Hang on a minute. We're having messages. Let us see. I don't think there's anybody that wants to ring in. Ooh. Rob Maggs. Oh, fuck. Yes, I'm going to send. Hang on a minute. I'm going to send just some stuff because this is the boss. I'll probably get another message in a minute. I'm trying to do two things at once. Yes, I am multitasking. So is everything all right with you lot at the moment? Is there anything that's particularly going on that you're particularly worried about? I mean, these Americans are getting their asses handed to them by a tornado, the poor bastards. And I've heard a lot of people talking, saying that that's been engineered. What do you think? I wouldn't know, so I can't really comment. Was your new missus compromised? Well, you could say that. She didn't like the fact that this worried her. She got worried that it would come and find her. So that was that. But there was other things as well. But she had problems her side, not mine. But there you go. What went wrong with the pub girl? It ended. Yeah, I won't go into details on it because it's not fair on her, but it was nothing bad, all right? It was all very polite ending and very pleasant and all the rest of it, but it just wasn't going to work, which is a shame. So yeah, you just get back on the horse as such and get on with it, don't you? It's made me realize that I would like a bird, right? I would. You know, the cuddles and all that stuff were lovely. And I'm talking about cuddles. I'm not just talking about shagging, right? I'm talking about actually having somebody have a cuddle with old hands. That's lovely, right? But you have to also make sure you're on the same page. And how is Big Dave? Well, this is the thing, isn't it, right? I don't know whether I can do this. Is he on? Is that? Let me see if I can put it on a minute. One minute. Where? Oh. Right, we're going to see if we can put Big Dave on. The lighting in here is shit, right? Because I haven't put the lighting on. But let's see if we can change camera, just for the simple fact that you'll see how big Dave is. So let's try that. Nope, there it is. Can you see how big Dave is in comparison to me and that fucking car seat there? Dave is fucking huge. I'll give you some idea. I'll stand next to Dave a minute. Wait there. Now, does anybody remember Little Trev? Little Trev was a tiny little sprig like that. Wait there. Trev is fucking huge. Right. Hang on, I'll zoom back in at Dave. Right, let's go back to the normal camera. So, right, what you feeding them? Simple, water. Straight out the tap. What I used to do was fire it into the top of the pot, but when all that gets wet at the top, you get those little bugs. They're all fuckers they are. So, I feed them from the bottom, and it's straight into the roots. But just put them next to a decent window. So what would that be? If it's north, so I'm just trying to work out. That'll be north. So that's west, that window. And that window will be south. So Trev gets light in the morning and Dave gets light towards the middle of the morning, afternoon. So they're very happy. The only problem is I've got to repot the cactus, Spike and Cyril, because they want to grow now and they're going to fucking hurt. So I'm going to need to get some decent gloves to do that. And then I'll have two fuck off great psychotic cactuses growing around, but whatever. So, yeah. Do you know, it's funny. People say, oh, I don't know. I just kill plants. How do you do that? What are you doing to the fuckers? Just put them near a window and put a little bit of water in and finger your soil. That's what I used to do. I used to stick my finger in. Is it dry? It needs a bit of water. But if you've got a little thing at the bottom, I'll suck it up. Happy days. And they'll water themselves as much as they need. Dave is mutating from the house plant to a tree growing in your house. This is true, Bully. Bully has been here and visited before. And I think he remembers Dave being that big. So anyway, I do like hearing Rev talking about things. That's good. What do we got here? 1 minute. 1 second. That's the boss. Yeah. I'll probably have to wrap this up and speak to him. But yeah, Dave's a Triffid. Do you remember the Triffids? They're the Triffids. Yes. Anyway, are you coping okay? You don't have a choice, do you? You just cope. There it is what it is. I've been through some misery in my life, and this isn't misery. All right. This is just a bit pissed off. This is just fuck Satanness. And then we all go through that. And you have to remind yourself that this is just a case of fucked offness. I haven't got any broken bones. The bills are being paid. I've got food. Okay. I have a job, right? Things are just being a cunt and piling up. And if everybody had done as they said they were going to, we wouldn't be here. That's the part that really fucks me off. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to have to finish this up because now the boss wants to speak to me. So whatever. And I will catch you all in a bit. Anyway, we'll try and do something tomorrow. Try and stay sober. That'll be the best thing because, yeah, getting drunk when you're a bit flat, not a good idea. Take it steady all, and I will catch you all a bit later.